All right, guys. Me and my cousin Colin are here tonight, and we've been talking on the phone for what about 6, 7 months now, and we have some very interesting conversations. Talking with Colin has been very eye-opening to me, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to bring you and share Colin with you guys because his it's been very inspiring for me, and I kind of want to get his message out there. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about yourself, Colin? What's your some of your background?
So first, thank you for doing this. It's been really difficult for me to find anyone to talk to in general. As I think a lot of people feel is the times are very confusing. So this is an excellent outlet, and I always look forward to our phone calls, and I enjoy them. Like I really do. They're
Yeah.
fantastic. Um, I I'm I work in construction. I got a degree in economics. I went to college. I did yada yada yada. I've traveled over, you know, probably 15 different countries around the world. So I have my favorite word right now is context, and
Yes. Yes.
a lot
Context.
of
Definitely.
people do not have context.
Yeah.
People just kind of operate with whatever is given to them right here. And the goal of this is to widen that aperture, like as wide as we possibly can. Is
What
if
is
I could give a goal, that would be
what
it.
what is that term? It's the window, the where you have the sliding window picture. Um,
Yeah, aperture, like when the lens opens up like that.
no, it's there's a term for when your view changes, and it's called the something window. Glenn Beck made a book about it. Overton
Oh
window.
well. Oh
Overton window.
oh yeah, the Overton window. Yes, yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
we're
Overton
hope.
window is the thing that is in front of you, and that is your perceived reality.
Yeah,
And the
so
key is that your perception is reality, which I'm sure many people have heard by now, many times that your perception is reality. Which begs the question, what is reality? Because if my perception is guiding our reality, we're in
hmm
trouble. It's not a
yeah.
good thing. Like we need some wisdom here. We need some we need some roots, to figure out like what the hell we're even looking at.
Well, I think the reason I really like our conversations has been with the projects I've worked on. I've seen a lot of government. They call them conspiracies, but when you're involved in them, they're more like facts. They call them
Well, no,
conspiracies.
they're actual conspiracies. Like they're
Well, yeah,
literally
but
conspiracies.
well, the
But I know what
problem.
you mean. Conspiracy theory is the idea that we can just assume that people are making plans up in the shadows and nothing's grounded. There's nothing further from the truth. Like anyone who understands history is built by conspiracies. It's how it all works. Like this idea that all of a sudden 20 years ago it stopped, you're an idiot if you believe that.
Well, they've given conspiracy a bad context, as in
Yeah.
like oh, you just think they're all it's like you're psychotic, you've lost
Yeah,
your
it's the
edge.
Jews. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and when you're involved in helping the government build their projects, you realize one you realize how really incompetent the government really is, and the other thing you realize when you work with the government is how people are in the government are just geared to do what they're told. There is
Yeah.
no independent thought. You follow orders. You do what you're told. You don't care where the orders came from. You just take care of it. You know.
Same in the private sector. Like, oh yeah, we got a free thinker here at Goldman Sachs. Let's promote him. What a great idea. Yeah, no, that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's everything, and people are not educated about this. Like this idea that, oh, I have credentials because I went to college. Here's the upside of me going to college. I realized how full of shit everything is. That's
Oh, yeah.
honestly, like, that was the only thing. I am literally in construction, and I will never go work for another corporate entity ever. Ever. I'd rather die. I'm not going to be a part of that.
The thing that got me is the last company I worked for started out as a sole proprietor, and
Yeah.
we all lived under this like one big family operation. We're all working together, and we're all going in the same direction. We're going this way, and we were always bringing people in and giving them the direction, how we're going to go. And
Yeah.
when 21, just at the beginning of 21, they sold the company, and this company was half the size of us, but they were corporate. They were corporate model, and they were policy this, policy that. When I worked for the first company, they just wanted you to get your job done and get it done legally. They didn't give a crap what means you took to get there. They wanted you to just get it done. And then when we got bought out by the bigger company, it was corporate. Our corporate policy is you don't do any U-turns. Well, you'd rather
Yeah.
me drive 40 miles down the road to prevent a U-turn? It's like, you guys are idiots. And it just destroyed morale and individuality. I just, I'll never
Yeah.
voluntarily work for a corporation like that again. Or I've learned in a corporation, they want you to follow orders and not have be independent thought. And that's
Yeah.
the part that scared the crap out of me.
Yeah. And then look around and go, okay, what are the small businesses that we can be a part of to be free, independent agents? And that aperture is closing and closing and closing very quickly. And it's people out of survival are going towards survival instincts rather than what's right.
Yes.
And that's not slowing down. That's part of the scary part of this. That's why I've been radicalized in the sense of like when I say radicalized, I'm not talking about politics or any political party or anything like that or any group. I'm radicalized in myself. I am learning what's happening in my inner world so
Yeah.
that I can have a better perception of what's happening in the outer world. You know, I was thinking about an idea for a podcast or a blog that I might write. It's called Exo/Esoteric.
Oh, we
And
need to give them the name of the podcast now that we're almost 10 minutes in. It's called The Turning. The name of our
yeah,
podcast is The Turning. And why
it's the
I
turning.
like the reason why you came up with that name.
Yeah, we're in it. You're in the turning, folks. Whether you like it or not, you're in it.
Well, I've been reading
So,
this book for the last 3 days called The Fourth Turning. And the thing
yeah,
that's scary is it was written in 1997, and he was so spot on with what was going to happen in the next 20 years. It's like,
yep, yep, yeah. If anything, he under delivered like how insane it's gonna be because we're in for another 10 years of this. Like it's not going to stop at least until 2030.
oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
this is it's just not going to stop.
Well, and then
And
the reason I put down the rabbit hole in quotations is because of the way we talk. We go down the rabbit hole. So the
yeah,
turning and the
Alice in
rabbit holes.
Wonderland.
Yeah.
Yep,
It-
it's worth taking a second look at that book. By the way,
well,
that
I
is
want
one
to.
of the key texts of the esoterics out there.
What I thought was cool is I keyed onto that without your like just thinking about when I was reading or listening to the book because I'm dyslexic, so I listen to all my books and
No, me too.
just
Honestly, I don't have time. Like I try. Go ahead,
oh
sir.
yeah, but it just kept making me think of Alice in Wonderland down the rabbit hole. It's
Yep.
all an apparition. It's just incredible. And then
Yeah.
the other thing that I can't stop thinking about is that idea that you sent me about the frequency. You sent me that link to the third beat of the heart, and then they
Yeah,
would look at the frequency of the heart and how it relates to the
the
whole.
Schumann the Schumann resonance. Yeah,
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Do you want to go into that right now? Like we can.
What,
It's.
wherever you want to go. This is our first episode, so whatever you want to do.
I I feel like that's a little bit of the deep end for people that
Yeah,
would
let's
watch
let's
this
let's soften them up
because
first.
you need some context, of what we're talking about because I've been on the internet for about 8 years now, like in the sense of like studying the internet, like it's like there's a mode of mind that you go into when you're like, okay, I want to understand what is happening here
Hmm.
versus someone explain to me what's happening.
Yes.
There's like a switch that happens when you're like, I don't trust any of this, but I want to look at this as a whole, and then I want to
Okay.
bring lived experience and integrate it so that I have some context for what I'm seeing versus just, oh, this guy's an expert and we're going to listen to Glenn Beck or Sean Hannity or whoever the hell, like, or Rachel Maddow or whatever. Like, we're not going to, like, that, those days are over. Like, that's not, but the thing is that you still kind of have to pay attention to those people because they control a massive massive subsect of the American population's mind.
Okay.
So you have to watch the mainstream media to understand the narrative that they're trying to build to get people from point A to point B. And you're either in that, and this is why people are so discouraged, is because intuitively, it's not even, you don't even have to be that smart to figure this out. You understand you're being led around by the nose if you're watching the news.
Okay.
Because it's just constant emotional anger, fear, dread. It's just, and it never stops. There's no, like, the thing about them, like Glenn, even these guys like Glenn Beck or Sean, they don't have like this goal they're aiming at. It's always like, look how crazy the Democrats are.
Well,
And the
yeah.
Democrats the same way. It's like, look how insane the fascist Republicans are.
Well, the thing that really started making me look at not believing what the media says is when I was working on the wall project, and
Yeah.
I helped bring the cement down with for We Build the Wall, and that was done by your favorite. What's his name? I can't.
Steve Bannon. Yeah.
Steve Bannon. Yeah, we worked
Yeah.
with Steve Bannon.
Yeah,
Pro-
Bannon's a genius. Just in my, and whether I agree with him or not, I have to admit he is by far one of the most effective political operators in human history. I've never seen anything like it. It's
but
amazing.
the thing that got me amazed is I'm working with this project. I'm on the ground, and I'm not forefront, but I'm in the backside of the ground because I'm support. And I bring in the cement, I bring in the fly ash, I bring several of the elements to build this. And
Hmm.
what they're talking about is going on is not what I saw. It's not what I saw at all. It was just like, how did you get? And I forget exactly what it was. I just remember the story and the way they were showing it was completely different from what was really going on the ground.
Yeah, you were there. You saw it firsthand versus what the news was reporting. So that was like, like holy shit.
I mean,
They're
dude,
lying,
I'm like,
like straight up lying about
this is
everything.
not. And then when Bannon got
Yeah,
charged for corruption on that, like we
yeah,
got paid. There was no
yeah.
corruption. We all got paid from that.
No, I mean they basically said that he got paid like $1 million out of that, but for managing a project like that, I mean honestly, that's kind of nothing. Like $1 million for being like one of the top managers. Yeah, it's a nice payday.
Well,
But I mean, the guy runs like multiple. That's the thing. Anyway, there was nothing illegal about it at all.
well, I
It
made.
was totally on the up and up. Yep.
Well, I didn't go there for the goodness of my heart. I got paid. I mean,
Right.
Fisher Enterprises got paid to do it too. Uh, uh, Mini Concrete, yeah, that's Mini Concrete got paid for making the concrete. Everyone got paid,
Yeah.
and um, project managers on that scale of a project, they don't do it for free. Yeah, they might like
No,
the
like
concept.
$1 million that's about right.
Yeah, and and it's not like they didn't have the cash, and it wasn't misappropriated. It was all spent, and they had like, and that's where they screwed him, is that he had kept such good records of what it was that they and,
Yeah.
and so seeing it on the ground, and then when we transitioned over to working for Trump, it was just horrifying what happened with watching them throw millions of dollars of wall into the desert,
Yeah.
just leave it there, and then when we went down this, I drove down there. I had already stopped working for that company, but I went down there and to see them selling it before they could put the wall up. It's like, you got to be shitting me here. You guys are sabotaging this at every pass. You guys are just full of shit. And then
Yeah.
the hardest part of that job is when we were working in New Mexico. Is I always thought it was bullshit when they talked about the human tragedy out there. And when you see the baby skeletons out in the desert,
Yeah.
uh,
No, I know. I've seen. I went down there. I saw
when you
it.
see it with your own eyes,
Yeah.
and then we can't take pictures. If I had pictures, I'd show you. But we were.
No, it's no.
And
Like, I
then,
mean, I literally hugged women that were running across that were like, they literally were like crying, saying they were raped like a couple hours ago.
oh yeah,
When
I
we
mean,
found them. Like, I mean, it happens every day. It's every day. It's nonstop.
yeah,
It's
well, we were down there by Columbus, New Mexico, and we were going across through the desert, and I'm like, how fucked up? And I'm trying not to cuss, but how fucked up is the situation you're in?
there's no other word for it.
To bring
It's
your
fucked up.
to bring your children into the desert with,
Yeah.
and they'd be left to die. I mean, so when I finally figured out the gravity of what it was just kind of fun to kind of put it to the other side.
Yeah.
But when you saw the gravity,
Yeah.
it went from a project to a humanitarian effort.
Yeah.
And then they tell me that I'm a racist. I'm like, I'm doing a job. They want concrete. I'm going to bring it to them. But then it went to, we're not saying you can't come here. We'll help you get in. Just go to the gate and ask to get let in.
No one believes that. I mean, this is, I was literally got into almost a fist fight with a guy in a bar like a year ago because, and I don't get into like, when I'm talking to like normies, I don't get into this stuff. But he just was like, well, if we didn't destabilize South America, then they wouldn't have to come up here. And he's actually right about that. That is true. But it's like, oh, we'll just, make it okay for people that are desperate to come here and not give them an option anyway. Like, they don't have any options. Like, I've married a Mexican. I know what it's like. Like, it's not like she has a bunch of families that are illegals. And you don't have a safe haven here. You're constantly on edge. There's nothing. It's a permanent slave class that they have built in this country. It's straight up slavery.
Yeah.
Straight up. And we're just sitting here going like, oh yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, no, we're being humanitarians because we're allowing slavery again. Good job, Democrats. Thank you. We appreciate that.
Let me give you some context. So you're 32. I'm 42. I did
33, but yeah.
Well, I'm almost 43. I'll be 43 next month.
No, I'm 33.
Yeah, I know, but I'll be 43 next month. So we're
No,
10
nice.
years apart. Well, no, in June. I got another month. Screw them. But anyways, I in the 1990s and the early 2000s, I ran construction crews and I worked with illegals. So I understand their plight, and I've met them in person,
Yeah.
and my heart goes out to you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like this: for every single person that is a legit good person, like I've met really good, hardworking people. I mean, if you want some bricks laid, you go down, you bricklaying. They still have all that craftsmanship from the trades, and I admit they're really good at it. But
Yeah. They're fine.
they're
But
hard.
I know what you're saying. Like, look, it's not about them. It's like, look, it's why is Mexico not like a industrial power?
Oh,
Why do they have to come up here? The reason is corruption. So it trickles up from the south and it affects. Look, I'm telling you, my entire county is infiltrated with cartel people
I live in Las
that run the
Cruces.
local government. Yeah, no, New Mexico, you guys are so fucked. I don't even know what to say. Like,
Oh,
it's
dude.
so you need to get the hell out of there.
Oh, I'm working on it, man. I mean, we have National Guard working around our major city, Albuquerque. We have National Guard, and first and foremost, if I was National Guard, the idea of being basically a glorified public service aide. I mean, like you put me into the middle of gangland without a rifle and a pistol, and I'm supposed to use harsh language. No, 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 no. That's not what I signed up for. No, 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 no. That fuck that crap. But well, I lost my train of thought. I mean,
No, it's fine. No, it's basically look.
and I'll give him this. I'll give him this. If you know history, because we've been reading about the fourth turning, right?
Mhm.
The reason Mexico is a shithole, and we'll just being honest, is because of the United States. Straight up. And the reason it's a shithole is because of the Democratic Party.
Yes.
Because when we had the Spanish,
and the Republicans, to be fair, because it's mostly the Democrats on the surface. But if we allow criminal elements to operate, we allow them to operate.
well,
If we
look
wanted
at
to
it.
kill them, we could.
Let me explain to you my context. In the 1840s and early 1850s, we had the Spanish Mexican Mexican American War, and we conquered Mexico. We conquered Mexico, conquered them. Went to Mexico City, took over the whole.
We conquered Spain.
Well,
we conquered Spain. We kicked Spain out of the continent. That's what that was all about.
Well, yeah. Well, so because of the fact that Mexico was a slave country, when we went down and took them over, we could have integrated all of Mexico into the United States and made a greater United States, but because they were slave country, we were already having a lot of strife in the fourth turning then over slavery, and if we would have integrated them into the country, we would have had a stronger anti-slave Democrat.
We made a deal with Spain. That's what happened.
Yeah. Well, and then we put a puppet government in.
We made a deal with them, and yes.
So we
not really. I mean,
well, we put Santa Anna in power.
Look, I mean, yes, it's just. All right, who ran Spain back then? So here, let's get into it.
Okay.
Who ran? All right. So we look at the EU today.
Okay.
And we go, oh, this is a European Union. All the countries agree together. Bullshit, they do. So who runs it?
Well, Brussels.
Who runs it? And who runs Brussels?
Well, you tell me who does it. I'm curious where you're going.
As best I can tell, and I could be wrong, because we are talking about covert finances, like that. It goes back 1,000 years. So this is
than that, yeah.
top dark secret shit. Like, who knows?
Hmm.
exactly, but all roads lead back to the city of London.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
like the city of
I
London.
thought that's where you were going,
I'm
but I
not
didn't.
saying London.
Yeah.
I just can't help it because all roads lead back there. Like if there was someone else, I would say it, but they all lead back there, and because of the ability for the British to project power first relative to other countries. I mean, they were like the prima donna navy power of the world. We never had that before.
Oh
You
yeah.
know what they did? They projected power and acted bigger and tougher than they are. And in geopolitics, people think like I don't know what people think about. Like people don't even understand what geopolitics is. To me, it's a giant game of poker. And everyone has a set of cards, and everyone's trying to pretend that they don't have the cards they have.
Oh, so they're all
And
bluffing. Okay.
it's
Yeah.
everyone's lying. Everybody. But here's the thing:
Yeah.
every now and again, someone will flip their face cards over and go, "Here's what we got. What do you got?"
Yeah. Put up
And
or shut
that's
up.
what's happening right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what's happening right now. So, America, we are the EU on steroids. The EU was built to fuck up America, honestly. Like, that was the whole, it was basically to be a competitive force on the Eastern Hemisphere versus America because we control the Western Hemisphere. I mean, even though it doesn't seem like we do, we do.
Okay.
It's hilarious to me that we just recently took back the Panama Canal,
Did
and
we really?
our elites basically sold. Yeah,
We.
no, it's yeah. I mean, we
Oh.
always should have. I mean, it's not even like a question that we should or shouldn't have. That was always ours.
Well, I always
But
thought that Jimmy Carter really gave us a shit deal on that. Like the way they
yeah,
really.
no, because they wanted to open up East Asia and this idea that China would be the counterbalancing force and be our partners that would basically man. So the elites, in their brilliant minds, thought that okay, the Western Hemisphere is over here. You got America. Now you got
Hmm.
the Eastern Hemisphere, China, Russia, Europe, all that shit.
Hmm.
We liberated China by giving Mao what he needed to win.
Yeah, because he
All
was
right,
an ally of
like
us for a
Mao
long
won
time. Yeah.
because of us.
Hmm.
Exactly. And we and the Chinese are great at one thing, and that is kissing ass, especially when they don't mean it. Like when they're just faking it and go, "Oh, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, we love you so much, long time."
Okay.
No, and they're living and they're literally running their own plays. And our elites are lazy, stupid, arrogant, old fucks that need to be put to pasture. And that's what's going on right now.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so the Russians are kind of in a weird position because they actually kind of want to be a part because they're a part of the Christian sphere, and people go like, "Oh, Christianity is just religion." It's like, no, Christianity is a frame of mind,
Yes.
and it's a way you can govern a society with little cost if you make people responsible for their own internal actions
Okay.
and you propagandize that out and be like,
Okay.
no, you're going to go to hell if you don't do the right thing. That's a pretty cheap way to govern.
Yes. Yes.
That's why
Very
the
true.
Romans loved it. And that's why the Romans took over the Catholic Church. That's why that happened. It was an excellent mind control program.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I
Now,
my
it doesn't mean that Christianity is wrong in its subset. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that from a governance perspective, they're like, that's not a bad idea. Let's go with that. That's easier. That or we have revolutions every 40 years.
yeah. That lasts 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have a revolution that lasts every 40 years. That lasts 40 years. Yeah. Yeah. It's just The thing that I thought was interesting when we started talking is I've always tried to figure out what the end game is. Like you see all these conspiracies, and you're like, what is the play? What are they trying to gain? What is because the one thing I learned in wife ordered anger management is so is before you get into an argument or before you get into anything, is the juice worth the squeeze? And you look at all
Yeah,
of this work they've put into it, and you're like, what is what's the juice here? You know,
you got it. Yep, yep.
because
That's a great question.
yeah.
That's the question. What? Give me your take. What do you think?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is just because it's like I'm I don't know. I'm a classic. I thought I was a conservative Republican, but when I started really diving into it, I really consider myself more of the classical liberal philosophy. You know, I want to be left alone. I want to govern myself. I don't want someone that doesn't know how to live their life to tell me how to live my life. I don't need. I want to. I'm able to govern my own self. I don't need help. So I'm a very classical liberal with a conservative leaning. And then when I started looking at how why were the liberal and conservative, because when you look at the word liberal, and it means free and open, and then you go, well, how come the people that are liberal are not free and open? They're they want to repress and control. And then when you start figuring out how the names came about and uh, to overcome the progressive era that was going to crap. So when was it Franklin Roosevelt came in and he started calling himself a liberal and said, "Well, they're the conservatives," and instead of fighting back and saying, "No, we're actually liberal. You guys are progressives," we just went with the flow, and then that led me down that why is the Republicans always doing that? So let's see what happens here.
All
You were
right.
gone for a minute.
Yeah, no, I don't know what happened. It just said it stopped.
Hey, but we've learned don't hit the
No, I didn't hit
record.
anything. It did it.
No, I know. I just wait. Anyway, so when I started, and that led me down the whole like history of progressivism and how they're the Democratic, uh, was it Democratic Socialist, and how they're the same bird, but they keep changing their feathers,
You know,
and that's
the big thing that I would say, and I am not like, look, the Democrat Party, as far as I'm concerned, needs to go the way of the Whigs. All right, and you
yes.
probably haven't heard of the Whigs because there's a reason for
Oh,
that.
I
They're
have.
gone, and the
Yeah.
Democrats need to be extinct as far as a ideology because they don't have an ideology. They're totally amoral scum. Like
But
they
then
just
when you look at you had the Whigs and the Democratic
yeah,
Republicans.
and the Republicans are the problem. That's what I'm trying to say. The
Yeah,
Democrats have
they're
already committed suicide. They're done. They'll never come back. They're I mean, they're trying look, with the internet and how
calm down, breathe,
I am. I
breathe.
am. But
Okay.
look, you got to understand 90% of America is under mind control.
Hmm.
They are totally brainwashed. And
Oh yeah.
there's a segment that, especially not the boomers, like everyone gives the boomers a bad rap. The boomers are actually the ones that called this out. It's the Gen Xers that need to wake the fuck up.
Well,
And
if you read the fourth turning, that's exactly what is supposed to
yep,
happen.
yep, that's right. Well, the millennials are supposedly to be the heroic generation that faces the consequences of all the actions that were ignored by the older generation. That the millennials are supposed to do that. And guess what happened? They hijacked it and used it for the summer of love.
Yeah.
They took the consciousness of all the 20-somethings and said, "You are now fighting against the Nazis."
Hmm.
That's how they
The
pulled that off.
fascists.
Yeah, and it worked. Then
Hmm.
now it's not going to work again. That's a one card trick. You can't do that again. If you're gonna pull that card, you better make it work. It didn't work,
Oh yeah.
so they got a problem.
Well, the thing I always thought was interesting is like the Republicans were all like over here, like we're going to the moon, and they're on the moon. And the same year that we're going to the moon, they're like, "Oh, let's go over and have free love, man." I can't believe that moon landing was the same year as Woodstock. Like the split in the country
What
of
a
the two.
coincidence!
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
No,
then
I have this over my. I literally have this over my pantry, like in my house. There's no such thing as coincidences. There's no such thing as conspiracies. Like that's my house motto,
yeah.
and that's true from back then. Like trust me, like don't get me into the moon stuff. Like trust me, that stuff goes wild.
Oh no, my uncle Chuck is quite the yeah. I've gotten him on that path too, but yeah. Um,
I I think we went there. No, I don't want to derail. So what? Keep going. What are
yeah,
you
no,
aiming at?
it's just like we have this amazingness going on, and then if you think about it, what 60 years we went from barely being able to fly to being on the moon, and now it's been 60 years, almost 60 years since we went to the moon. What
Yeah.
how'd that get derailed? And now we need to have uh, these outside companies come in and reorientate us towards getting back to the moon, and it's like, what happened?
Yeah.
Where did we go wrong? So it's just
I don't know if you want me to get into that. I mean, this is like a 7-hour conversation. To be honest with you, this is not something that I can simply lay out. This is, but
there's
your instincts are correct.
yeah
There's
there's no such
something.
you can't do
There's
the
some fuckery afoot. Let's put it that way. Okay. like,
oh yeah yeah and then working where the projects I've worked with, when you see how they spend money, and
yeah.
it's in like
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Money's not the issue.
But no, it's like when Elon Musk comes up and he's like has all these revelations, and people are like asking me, "What do you think?" I'm like, "Dude, I've been on the
Yeah.
other side of that check. I understand how messed up it is."
Yeah, I know he's a genius. He figured it all out. Now we're going to Mars. Yay! Thank you, Elon Musk. Like,
Well, I'm not an anti Elon Musk guy, but I have to say it is very interesting that he's trying to attack
it's stupid. The whole
the.
thing is retarded. Like, it makes me so pissed off. Like, they are using Joe Rogan as a way to bring people forward to just go like, this is reality. Like Joe Rogan is the reality check.
Well, the thing I find amusing is the whistleblower brought this out. I'm like, I was nowhere near this guy, and I could have told you what was going wrong. I didn't need to be a whistleblower. Uh,
What do you mean by that exactly?
well, we worked on a project at Holloman Air Force Base. Well, in the White Sands area, right after Afghanistan fell, and the amount of money they spent on that at that Air Force base was just mind blowing. And it's like anyone who's ever worked for the government, it's like the way they blow through cash like a crack addict through a pound of coke. It's just like
Yeah.
what I thought was funny is I was working with a company over there that I won't say because I don't need that. But we're working with a
Yeah.
company.
No.
I shouldn't even said the military base, but
No. Honestly, don't say like. If we're
we
gonna record this, like, watch yourself. Like,
yeah.
seriously. Like, it's not worth it. It is.
Oh,
This is not worth it.
oh yeah.
So don't.
Well, let's just say that.
Blow your load on this one, please. It's not worth it. Because there's plenty of other stupid shit that they've exposed themselves on that we don't need you to be the whistleblower. Like,
well, no,
honestly.
but the military or the government comes up, and we have projects that we're working on that we are not interested in any part in dealing with. So we throw out just a ridiculous number at them, and all of a sudden they're like, okay, and you're like, well, if I would have known you were only going to let me, you wanted $1 million to do this, and I'm using, for instance, it was way more. Shit, I would have asked for 3.
No, I know. I was tempted to do it, and then I was like, because we're window installers, and I was like, let's just do government contracts and let's like bid them up like 3 times, and they'll take it. And I never brought it up because I feel bad.
Well, you have ethics.
I know, but that's why we're poor. Like, it's like.
I might be poor, but at least I'll have my soul in heaven.
That's right. And you know what? I'm good with that.
Well, it's just.
I'm really good with that, to be honest.
We worked on some projects in Nevada that were so mind-blowing. Like, I can't be specific, but we worked on projects over there that it's just like money was just, just.
Yeah, it's nothing. It's just, here you go. Yep, there you go.
Yeah, it's just, and I'm like, we got to get away from this because there's something wrong here the way they're spending this cash, and they're just like,
no.
I will tell you about one project that we worked on that was just mind blowing. There's a thing in southern New Mexico over by the Texas. It's called WEC or the WIC or whatever. It's the waste disposal site here in New Mexico. And we would bring them in like a whole load of cement, and they would make concrete. And the company was so upset with how inconsistent they were working on that project. They were charging them like $500 a yard, and they had to have a revolution counter and all this stuff. And we would watch them make up all the concrete in the plant, and they'd send it to WEC or WIC. Yeah, WIC. Yeah. They'd send it to the WIC site, and because while they're testing and doing all their fancy crap, they're like, oh, it has too many revolutions on it now. Just throw it away. And I'm like, there's 10 yards of concrete that they're charging $500 a yard for, $300 to $500 a yard. And you guys are just like, let's just say there's a lot of driveways in southern New Mexico that were poured with government concrete. Because they were just like, oh, no, just throw it away. It has too much air, too much revolution, just throw it away. When you see stuff like that, just throwing the government, the people's money away, and then when they come up and say USAID is doing this and that, and what are you looking at?
I just saw something on the news. Damn.
What's up?
I just I think the Catholics are about to have a schism.
A schism? Oh, do tell.
Yeah. I don't see how this Pope Francis death thing is going to end well for the Catholic Church.
I've heard from a lot of people that are tied in with the Catholic Church that this might be the last Pope.
I think they may have a schism.
What do you mean by schism? What is that reference?
Well, so how about this? Let's I don't want to go into this because this is like a whole thing.
Yep, but I'll tell you right now, if you do this, you'll be good friends with Doug Batchelor.
You have a friend? Is he a Catholic?
No, I said if you go down that path against the schism, you'll be good friends with Doug Batchelor when you're done.
Oh, I'm not doing cults. I'm done with all of them.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Christian. in the sense that I am grateful for what Yeshua did to us or did for us, and I've studied the Bible religiously compared to what most people do, and it's. Do you want to get into this? Because this is kind of the thing.
Well,
So
I'm right there with you. I've said for years that I am a Christian. I love Christ. I've read the Bible. I,
why? Why do you love Christ?
I tell you what it is. This is every time I've walked a line that wasn't in parallel as saying I'm a Christian and tried to go down a different path, my life turns to shit. When I when I was in a really bad part of my relationship with my wife because I was trying to be the god of my own reality, and I finally gave up. It says in the Bible that if you give your life to Christ and let Him take the steering wheel, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not like like a Bible
Yeah,
scholar.
that's a country song. That's not the Bible.
Yeah,
I
but
know what you're
if you let Him
saying.
take control of your life,
Jesus, take the wheel. Yeah, no, I got you.
I'm
No,
glad you
you're
did.
right. I'm not knocking you. You're
Yeah,
100% correct. You're
I'm
right.
glad you're not a country
Yeah.
singer. But um, um, and one night I was in such a desperate state because I was looking. I worked for years to have this relationship with my wife and be married and have kids and have the house and
Yeah.
have all the
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm staring down the gun barrel of divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I went to the silo where I pick up cement, and I was talking to this old guy, and I don't want to mention names, but he comes up and he goes, it was his last day. He was retiring that day. And he goes, I've been watching you for the last few months, watching you just flush your life down the shitter. He goes, you need to get on your knees and pray to God to take control. And I went home and I go, well, and I literally, and I felt bad. I was cussing because I was so mad. I'm like, well, you think you can fucking do better? Here,
God
can't
can
do any.
handle a cuss word.
Well, I know,
Like,
but I go, you
he can
think you can
handle it.
do better? Take the fucking control. I'm not,
That's
can't
right.
do any worse than
Yeah.
me. And then changed the music I listened to. I started going back to church for a while, and then started finding peace. Finally I got inspiration to finally get back on my ADD medication and get my thoughts under control and get a lot of help. And 3 months later, my sister died.
Yeah.
And if I hadn't found that peace before and just like the surrender, if I hadn't just surrendered my whole entire situation, then I couldn't have made it through. So every time that I've strayed away from the path of being a Christian, I'm not saying anyone. If I call myself a Christian and I try to live my life as a Christian, my life is really good. And when I go away from that, my life turns to shit. Hey, keep it down over there. Hold on. Are you still there?
Yeah, no, I'm like my camera kicked off. So, do you hear me?
Yeah, my roommate is making noise.
Oh, it's fine. No, what you just said resonates so deeply within me. I can't even express. Like, I resonate 100% with what you're saying.
Well, so it's
Like,
just like
yeah,
stop micromanaging your life. You're not going to do any good
yeah.
job. All you're going to do is piss off your wife and kids. And
Well, I just question: is there a deeper answer to all of this? Like, instead of just like, okay, we were given a pattern of being. Can we unfold it? Can we look deeper and understand it? Because I understand grace. Like, you understand grace. You know what grace is? Being forgiven when you don't deserve it.
yeah,
Like when your daddy comes to you and says, you know what? I love you no matter what. That's what grace is. That's what God is mimicked through our fathers to teach us how to forgive and love. And that is not something for everybody. People can't accept that sometimes. It's really hard.
Well, I know that after all and I was a horrible person. I'm not going to say that I'm going to paint.
Me too, dude.
I'm not going to sit here and try to paint a rose-colored glasses, man. I mean, I was horrible to my wife, and the idea that she forgave me, and you know, every morning I wake up and I just go, you know what, God's got.
Yeah, but are you guilt-ridden or are you trying to strive for your soul?
I have no guilt.
It's a big difference.
No, I'm not guilt-ridden.
Because I'm going to say this between you and me and the internet. My dad is guilt-ridden.
Why?
And that's why, because he was not a good father and a good husband early on when he was 23. Go figure, You're a 23-year-old trying to be a husband. It's like, yeah, you're not going to be good at it. It's not, like, I don't hold anything against him, but he holds it against himself to this day. And he can't let it go.
Oh, I know. Every time I've seen him, the one time I've seen him in the last 15 years is when we went to that restaurant when I came to visit you, and you could just see the guilt like pushing him down.
Yeah.
Because
it's still there, and that gets reflected back onto his children, and he doesn't even know that.
Yeah. Well, hey, I keep going back to this thought of like, shit that they lived, I might have to pay for some counseling, but I got them. They stayed alive,
Yeah, no, I mean, look, we're not going to do this perfectly.
No.
But we.
Uh-oh. What is the problem here? Your dad has a lot of guilt. I mean, you were saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's a part of the Adventist creed is make sure you die with a lot of guilt. And Dan's about to die with a lot of guilt.
Oh, is he that bad, huh?
No, he's about to go.
That's too bad. I love Dan.
No, me too. Me too. But he is, he lived a life built in a paradigm. And that paradigm did not allow him to forgive his parents or forgive himself. And it's weighing on him. Like, literally, the last time I talked to him, he was crying his eyes out.
Did you give him that book about to write his history down?
Yeah, but it was too late. He's too far gone. He's not going to do it. And it was more to try to bring him back, like, here, with us. But he's ready to go, but it's also, it sucks because he's going through he's going to forget everybody. He's going through Alzheimer's hard.
Is it really Alzheimer's or is it some other?
who knows? At this point, we've been poisoned. Like,
Well, what
and
does
you
it
can only
matter?
tell.
Yeah.
You can tell people like, oh, look, I've spent the last 5 years trying to convince my family that you are being poisoned. Here's ways to mitigate it. No one wants to listen. So.
Yeah, well, your
I,
grandfather.
I never stopped. I will continue to my dying breath to mitigate this damage what these bastards have done to our families. But you can only lead a horse to water.
The
So.
sad thing about your situation, Dan is such a. He's probably the thing I've always liked about the Klein part of the Owen family, because so our bigger hierarchy is my my dad's mother was an Owen, and his grandmother's mom was an Owen. So that's how. So they all come from the Owen clan, but outside of the your wing of that family, Dan's Klein's all of his kids are legitimately some of the nice people. I mean, like no phony. They're just legitimately nice people. They're
No,
very
they're
they're
they're too nice almost. Like it
yeah
drives you nuts.
they're
Like
like
it's like I'm not this nice. Like come on, stop it. Like be an asshole, please. Like just make me feel normal. Like it's one of they're like, no, how are you? Like it's all great. Like yeah, it's like yeah, no, it's. I'm like I'm crawling out of my skin when I'm around them because I love them so much, but I'm like like stop it.
well, I can just say that I've spent several vacations up in one of the biggest first big vacation me and my wife took after we got back together was we went to Lincoln. Who the
Yeah.
hell goes to Lincoln other than even though I was an outsider, I was family by blood, but I'm an outsider. I went and the love that
We love you, Cody. We love you.
yeah, but I
We
mean,
really do.
when I say that being when I've said to people that being in Lincoln changed my life, yeah, and I'm not making that
I
up.
believe you. I believe you. I know what you're saying, and it obviously changed my life. I grew up in it, so
Yeah.
like I know what you're saying. It's very special. It's very
Well,
special.
I think Michelle Klein. I mean Michelle Fortney, but she is like legitimately like I've never heard a foul word out of her mouth. I've never heard a coarse word towards another person.
No,
Um,
she's like the closest thing to a saint I've ever seen.
she is
It's
just the
it's unbelievable.
yeah, and then your dad is like one of the best things that you can hear from your dad's mouth is his laugh. When your dad's really laughing, dude, I have
Yeah.
to tell you, you got to recenter your camera. You're driving me crazy. I see half your face.
Oh, I mean it.
All right. You're getting your dad's laughter is just the silliest. Your dad laugh
Better?
that's better. My
Okay,
OCDs.
all right.
Your dad when he laughs it just brings a smile. It's like a kid giggling, you know.
Yeah.
Um, the thing that's hard about your uncle Dan is that he is just so serious all the
Well,
time.
he just went through a life death situation where he had cancer. Like I think it was like
Yeah, he had
6 years
pretty
ago.
bad.
Yeah, and so he survived that. So shit.
Um, oh, we're having problems. Are you still there? Oh. I don't know how it works, but it just says reconnecting. Please wait a moment while the app reconnects to our servers.
Yeah.
But when it
No, it's fine.
reconnects, you there, sir?
All right. Um, what are you? Let's reset. This is a good reset. What are you most curious about in general? And I'll see what I can offer. I mean, I got a bunch of places we could go with that, but it's better if the other party is a willing participant rather than me just going, we're going this way. You know what I mean?
Hi. Can you see me?
Hola. ¿Cómo estás? Yes, I see you. Yeah.
Well, we kind of went off on the rabbit hole for sure there with some of what we were talking about. But, oh, are you there? It says it's recording. You want to keep going?
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm down.
Yeah, we'll see if I can edit all this and fix it. But
who cares? This is fun. I just like talking with you, bro. It's all good.
Well, the problem we're having here is I'm in Fort Stockton, Texas, and apparently there's some bad weather outside, and it's kind of affecting our internet connection. So the background in the back is not going to be the normal background, but no. Yeah, it's sad that your dad carries that much guilt because.
Well, it's everybody in that generation. It's not even my dad. It's all of them. They're just trained to be guilty, is what it seems like. It's like, I mean, point someone in the Gen X generation that doesn't have guilt written all over them.
That's right. Your dad is Gen X.
Point one out.
Yeah, your dad's Gen X. Yeah. Wait, he was born in what, 62?
Yeah, I mean, especially being Dan Klein's son. I mean, that's a hell of a burden.
Well, not only did he did that, but he was the youngest, and he had kids before everyone else, and he broke the mold.
Yep, he broke the mold, and I would not be who I am today if it weren't for him. And
getting you out of there,
he got us out, and he got us into a state where I could think freely. And
was that bad in Lincoln?
Oh my God, yeah. No, I mean, it's not on the surface it looks great, but everyone's lying. You know what I mean?
Really?
Everyone's pretending. Oh my God, yeah, everyone's pretending.
Are you sure you want to put this on the internet?
Yeah, I tell them this all the time. I tell them this openly.
Okay.
I scream at them. Wake up. Stop it.
Yeah.
Just be honest about what we're feeling and what we're going through and everything. Stop making pretend that this is some play doll world. It's not. This is incredibly complicated, and we need to be very kind, compassionate, and calm with each other as we navigate through this insanity. So,
well, the one thing I can say, my perception's always been that your grandpa's been a very, very humble man, at least to the outside world.
Well, yeah, to the outside world, he is one of the most arrogant people I've ever met, but his heart doesn't mean to be. He's got this dialectic problem going on where he doesn't want to be arrogant, but he is. You know what I mean? And every human knows it. You know what I'm talking about.
It's just that Adventist mindset.
Yeah.
It's the Adventist.
Yeah. No, literally, when I was talking to him on the phone the other day, he was bawling his. I've never heard him like this.
Your grandpa was crying?
Yes.
Oh man.
like openly on the phone saying, I just love you guys so much. I love you kids. So I'm like, oh, you're dying.
Dude,
That's what I heard.
I've been around your grandpa several times, and the amount his grandchildren are his world, and I'm not,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. No,
he
they
told
are.
me,
And we love him so much. Like, I can't, he's like my second dad.
well,
Like, I got my dad, Dave, I got Marty, and I got Dan.
the thing that
Those are my three dads.
the thing that I look at your grandpa is when my grandpa died. He died when I was 12. And the closest thing I came to having a second grandfather was Dan. And
Yeah.
the most proudest moment I had when I was around him is that he said I was one of his honorary grandchildren. So I was,
That's real. That's real, dude.
yeah.
Like, you don't understand. You're like, if you keep looking like it declines, like we're separate. We love you. You
Oh,
don't understand this. We love you.
oh yeah.
You are us. Okay. Seriously, I'm not kidding.
Well, I mean, we went out.
Because you were real. You were honest.
Oh, that's the only. My dad, with all his faults, he taught me you can only be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. And
That's right.
the last time I got to hang out with your grandpa, we went up to Milton Freewater, or is it Milton Free or up by Wahoo, the cottage.
Yeah.
And he comes
Yeah,
up and he
Wahoo.
goes,
Yeah.
so we went up there and we're like putting stuff up there because it was just before Labor Day, about the same time of year. And I went up there, and it brought tears to my eye because he goes, as an honorary grandchild, if you moved up here, you could have access to all of this. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
The jet ski,
Perks, baby.
I'm like, what do you mean just? You mean just the hot tub, right? And he's like, no. And he goes, you bring your family up here. You can go use the lake. You can use the wave runner. It's all available.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, I went home that night and I said, when Dan says something,
It's a good deal.
He's not making it all up. I think.
No, he means that.
Yeah.
He meant that. He meant
yeah.
that. For sure.
And being called an honorary grandchild was just like.
No, I look at you as a brother. Like, I know we don't know each other that well, but I'm like, the fact that you're this real.
Oh, this is not. This is.
I would say this is someone that wasn't even in my family. I'd be like, oh no, you're my brother.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I always. What do I tell you when I hang up? I go, hey brother, you take care. Every time, right? Yeah. No, I mean, I'm a brother from another mother. So.
Yep. It's more real than you would think. But anyway, how deep do you want to go? Like, I can go deep quickly.
Oh, I know.
Like, or we can lube it up. You know what I mean? It's like, how hard do you want to go? Like, we don't have a lot of time left, but
yeah, because I got to get up and I'm doing the Big Ben race tomorrow. I got to get up at 5 a.m. Oh
my God! You need to go to bed like right now.
I know. I got to get up. So the way it works is they close the road down at 6, and I got to be past the road barrier before 6 o'clock. So.
Tell you what. Seriously, just ask me the hardest question you can think of.
Hardest question I can think of.
Yeah, like the most difficult, most personal. I don't care. No limits, no barriers. Whatever it is, ask it. What's the hardest thing that you're struggling with that you can?
Well.
And see what pops out of my mouth. Yeah.
My question is because you ran for office, which we haven't disclosed to the audience. You got into I went and started volunteering for the Republican Party to try to help a candidate win, and I got onto the shore of the lake, and you dove into the lake when you ran. And then you were at the Jan 6 in Washington D.C.
No, I went. I was there in November before Jan 6. Like I was at the early protests, which like literally we had knife fights. Like one of our guys got
Oh,
like stabbed
yeah,
and
the
ended up in
Proud
the
Boys. You
hospital.
were you were there with the Proud Boys.
Yeah. No, yeah, no. I was in the. I was part of the Proud Boys. Yeah,
Oh wow.
and it wasn't that I was like a Proud Boy. It was more of
Can you really?
anyone that was willing to stand up against this insanity. I'm like, I don't care how retarded, but I will say it was the stupid hour. Like, do not join the Proud Boys.
Oh no, no, I'm not a joiner.
It's no, not you, but I'm just saying anybody that's listening. I'm just saying, dude, like it's stupid.
The thing that
They
was
do.
the thing that was hard for me is knowing you as long as I have. I mean, um, the level of discouragement that was in your voice during that time. You were so depressed and so it was,
Yeah.
dude. I haven't never seen you that depressed ever, and the defeat that was on your face. I was worried about you, man. I was like, man, he really took this loss hard. And
I was well. It wasn't about the presidency. It was more about
I
the
never,
state of humanity's mind.
yeah.
It's like, where are we? What are we aiming towards? Like, are we actually like trying to be free? Are we trying to be sovereign individuals? Are we trying to be like, what are we doing? Like, if we're just going along with whatever is like the easiest path forward, we're fucked.
Oh yeah.
Like, you can't do that. You have got to stand up in the hard days, in the hard moments, and be willing to take a bullet to the head. You just have to. There's no other. Look at history. That's what we have to do.
Well, what's funny was I was your age, not to sound like the older condescending brother, but I was at this mindset where I built a vehicle. I was ready for the to me the writing was on the wall. Bug out,
Yeah.
man. I was the bug out king. I had
Yeah, run away, flee, flee, flee. Yeah.
well, no,
I want to go fight, fight, fight. I want to fight.
no. It was when I got to this point. I go well. I'm going to be an insurgent. I had like bug out locations in the national forest. The reason we moved to New
Yeah.
Mexico is because of the BLM land because we like Fort Wheeling, and
Yeah.
me and my brother we had gone up into the mountains and we figured out where we were going to park and everything, and then
Yeah.
and then I
Red Dawn shit. Yeah.
well I was filmed here. No, like straight up, like I had this like overwhelming weight on me that it's all coming to an end. And what's funny is with my position and with the people I work with, they came up to me and this guy named Alan, he was working with the defense readiness or whatever. There's
Yeah.
so many agencies, and I go, this is
Yeah.
my plan, man. And he goes, they've planned for you to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, man. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get everyone loaded up. I got this vehicle. We're going to go up into the mountains. And he goes, they've already planned for that. Whatever you think you. Yeah. And it's just like the defeat.
It's not so much that it was more of I couldn't believe how stupid everyone.
Oh yeah, no, I was
because I'm like, there's a way to win this, and it's not with direct action, but when you're called to that, when it's like you got your enemies out there and no one's stepping up into that role to counterbalance that, it's like, is that my role? I don't know. Like at the time, like it was, but now I'm like, we got to be way smarter.
Yeah.
Way smarter.
Well, the thing that pisses me off is, I mean, I would get in trouble in school, and I would go and hang out with my dad on a job site, and I listened to Rush Limbaugh growing up, and start
Yeah.
embracing the conservative ideas, um, and the thing that pisses me off is like you keep seeing it time and time again. It's like the United States and the Republican Party have the same thing. We're always the good guys. We can never go in and actually play full on deep throat war. We go into
Yeah.
Afghanistan. These people are doing an insurgency. They're playing dirty. We got to be the bigger guys. We have the
Yeah, but
Republic.
it's also like, why are we there at the same time?
Well, I'm just saying
it's like,
that I'm not discussing why we were there. I'm just saying I'm using it as an example.
yeah,
The United
yeah,
States is
no,
always
no,
doing
I
the
hear what
right
you're
thing.
saying. Yeah.
And the Republicans are always doing the right thing. The Democrats are over here
Yes.
the Democrats are over here. They're breaking the rules. They're
They're
writing
just
the
openly criminal, and
Yeah,
they don't
criminal.
give a shit.
and
Yeah,
and I'm just like, how come we have to be the bigger man, and they get to go and destroy the country, but we have to be the bigger man? That's been my paradox, and it's just. And when you
it's.
start breaking it
Go ahead.
down,
Sorry.
if you lose your moral compass and you start playing a guerrilla war, then you're just as guilty as they are.
Yes, and that's what makes this so difficult. And I've met a lot of people on the road that I'm new to this. They've been sucking this up for 20 or 30 years. Some of these people,
Yeah.
and they know exactly what's going on, and they want to kill people.
Oh, dude.
But they're smart enough to understand that it doesn't work that way.
Well, yeah.
You can't. It just won't. You gotta just be the bigger man. You have to.
You have to.
And we have to suck it up and take the punishment because we deserve it. Quite frankly, we've put up with this for decades.
Yeah.
And we've allowed this to happen, so you know what? We deserve the pain and punishment because we need to learn our lesson to never let this happen again.
But
Ever.
Here's the problem. You get to this point when you've been in politics. You know, I voted when I was 18 years old in the 2001 election, so I've been voting for 26 years. And you get to this point where you're like, it's never. Why am I being punished? I'm always voting for the right guy, and I'm the one continuously being screwed. And then you see that I'm warning all these people, and they're just not listening. And I was part of the movement. I was trying to stop what was going on in California, and you just find this go, gotta go, get the hell out of here. And we moved to New Mexico. And now that same mentality is coming to New Mexico, except for it was already here. New Mexico is one of the most corrupt states I've ever had any dealings with.
It's like as corrupt as Colorado. It's horrible.
Oh, yeah. And
It's
the
crazy.
The thing that's scary about New Mexico is they look at Colorado and go, that's a good idea.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
yeah.
my God. Like, I like hunting. You know, they're like, Colorado banned bear hunting. That's a good idea. No, we need bear hunting to keep the bear population at bay. And then they go, we need to ban mountain lion hunting. They're part of the environment. Yeah, well, okay, but do you like your dogs and your cats and all the? They're going to kill and eat you. And when they're done eating all them, they're coming after you. You know, it's just,
I just let the Democrats run it. Like honestly, let them drive it to the ground.
But you know what's funny is when you read,
and run. Get the fuck out of there.
What's funny is when you read the book Boundaries by
yeah.
And
no, I have it on my bookshelf. Yeah.
When you read that book and you stop helping that coworker that's taking advantage of you, and eventually they'll go along and then they'll sink their own shit. That's pretty much what's happened. It was
Yeah. No, I mean you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no other. It's
Henry Cloud.
because
Henry Cloud wrote that book, Boundaries. Great book.
No, I have it on my bookshelf. Like I've read like about 20 pages of it, but
dude,
I get the gist. Like
I have I have books that I listen to on a yearly basis, and I have books I listen to on a bi-yearly basis. I just put them in the calendar. Like, here, I need to listen to this book a year from now. Or like Atlas Shrugged, that's a biannual book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but Henry Cloud's Boundaries, that's a yearly book. I listen to it every year just to. And the thing that's crazy is every time you listen to that book, you get a different view. And then the other book that's absolutely a once a year read is Dale Carnegie's How to Make Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
Have you read that one?
Or yeah, no, and Seven Habits is fantastic. Along
And
with that one.
the other one that you need to read, that my favorite book is How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie.
Yeah.
And that one really.
No, I'm trying to think of a way to like dive into this because I want to go. You know, before we end tonight's broadcast, I want to go as deep as we possibly can.
Okay.
And what you just said is something that's really important. I need to start this by asking a question, and you need to answer as honestly as you can. Who are you?
Well, am I?
Yes, who are you?
In what regards?
I don't care.
When I wake up in the morning, what do I see in the morning in the mirror? Kind of question.
Sure.
What I see is my kid's dad. And then, not that you probably should be in this order of importance, but then I look at as then I'm a husband. And I know the Christian paradox. And then I'm a Christian.
Forget about Christian. What do you see? Forget about all the other shit. Well, what do you see?
So I wake up. The first thing I see is the father of my children. Then I see the husband of my wife, and then I'm a Christian. I know it's supposed to be God. All that. No, it's those.
Yeah.
Those
forget about all that. Forget about all that.
Yeah. So first night. Yeah. So that's exactly what it is. First dad, second husband, third Christian.
Imagine you didn't have any of those grounding points.
I don't have to imagine. I've been there. I've been a very immoral person. I've been all about my whole 20s was just about what Cody wants, what he likes. And then the best part about doing that when you're in your 20s is I had no one to take with me down that hole. And the problem I had was when I was going through my 20s is I wasn't done. But I had a promise to my great grandmother that when she died, she was 92. When she died, she said, you need to settle down by the time you're 30. You're going crazy. I'm like, I'm having a blast. What's wrong? I'm having a good time.
Thank you, Grandma.
And so I turned 30 and I went on the internet and started looking the modern way of dating. And I found my wife.
Yeah.
And I wasn't done. That's selfish.
No, me too.
That selfish. Yeah. That selfish part of me lasted another 2 years of my marriage. And we won't go into how deep I really got, but
no. I'm not trying to get into your
no. I don't want to really put out there how deep.
Let's just say I was sitting. That's not what I'm asking.
But when I was sitting on the side of my bed, and the reason I always say Father first. So I was having a deep moment, and I was sitting. I'm like, "What is this all about?" And if I give up on everything, all I could see was the disappointment in my daughter's face. And my daughter,
so guilt.
It wasn't guilt. It's if I went down this path, the disappointment that would come from me doing that, from being, if I don't change. So I never hit guilt. It
You
was
could see the consequences of what you would do now versus what would happen,
there
like
was
the
this
outflow.
when I was in I was in anger management actively at that time, and Tracy, my counselor, introduced this idea of mind playing out videos in my mind. And she's
Yeah.
like, before you do an action, stop, think, how is this going? What's the video look like afterwards?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I figured what the bad thing I was doing if I continued on that path, um, what would my kids think of me? And I only had Kylie at the time. I'm just like the disappointment on her face in the future that never happened.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh.
Yeah.
So that's the reason I always say dad, then husband, because my daughter,
Yeah.
the thought of disappointing my daughter was the redemption.
No, she's my daughters are my guiding light.
Well, now,
I know what you're saying.
but it's like, so Phoenix and
Yeah.
Kylie are 8 years apart. First off, it's just funny because the first thing that the parents always ask you when you're older, same wife. Yes, it's the same woman, but when you look back at how depressed and how bad it was for me, and then I look into the face of my younger daughter, Phoenix. She's only 2.5. I'm like, she would have never been here. And
Yeah.
so when you get to those points in your life, I have no regret. I don't feel guilty.
No.
It's a growing point. You're growing and moving on. And
That's why I love you, Cody. That's why I love you. It's because you want to grow. I do too, and it's a process. I didn't mean to interrupt you. That was
no.
beautiful. That was beautiful what you just said. I resonate. I got 2 daughters. I know what you're saying.
So
you look in their eyes.
I love
It's like a magical world. It's like it doesn't exist in your own perception until you see it in their eyes.
the idea of anyone hurting my children is fear in my heart, because I know how angry of a man I was when my world was collapsing, and the amount of sheer violence that I know I'm capable of. And I'm not threatening anyone. I'm happy.
No, I know what you're saying.
That dark place that I was at, I see that hurting one of those children is the trigger, and it just. And the sad thing is when you're that dark of a spot, it is so horrifying when you look back at how bad it was. And I was just like, when you've called me up and you've been in a bad spot, and I just try to go, hey man, just
no, I'm in a bad spot right now, to be honest with you. But yeah.
Well, that's why we're kind of doing this, so you can kind of talk through this and grow together. And
yeah, but what you're saying is what I needed to hear. So thank you.
Yeah.
No, keep going. Like, I love this.
I'm not trying to proselytize or whatever.
No, you're not. Like, you're telling me.
Yeah. It's just,
I resonate.
I'm not a good man.
Me either.
I've never claimed to be. I have a really bad sense of humor. I find things that are not supposed to be funny absolutely hilarious. And then I point them out to my daughter, and she's just like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, "What? Look at the irony here. Life is funny." And if you don't have a good sense of humor, man, what the hell? It's going to be dark. And the only thing that I keep falling back on is you just got to laugh. You just got to laugh at this stuff, man. I mean, I'm going to go off on the rabbit hole real quick. The idea that a year ago that Teslas were the savior of the society to come. The electric car will save the world. And those same people are firebombing them. It's just like You're burning the car that was going to save the world. And you understand how much carbon those batteries put off, the pollution that those batteries put out into the environment. I'm just like, bunch of idiots. I mean, when you look at the irony in life, it's just
It's
yeah. I mean, just think about it. Elon Musk was the savior.
no,
Now he's the enemy.
he, yeah.
I know.
It's
I
so
know.
much more.
It's just when you step back and look at the stupidity,
Yes,
you're
yeah,
like,
yeah. From the standard normie perspective,
oh yeah, it's just
it's
like,
like
oh, now he's the bad guy. And I know you're not a fan of him, and I just
it's. I'm not a fan of anybody. I'm just watching and seeing what they're doing, and look, it's that's a whole different conversation.
yeah, we need to stay in this rabbit hole and not jump into another one. But
No, this is good because I mean the big thing is how do we be good dads in today's world? You know,
the
I think that's a good question. You
the
know, to put
the,
out there.
the thing I had fun with one time is my daughter was going to. My daughter is always real active. She has ADD like her dad or whatever they want to be. She's exactly like me. And I go to
Yeah.
I go to she was trying to do, was this, cheerleading. And the idea of 10-year-olds being cheerleaders is repulsive, but I played along. And this lady,
Jesus Christ!
yeah, it's like,
I would have flipped shit over that. Oh my
oh,
god!
I was just like, if she's anything like me, she won't be in this very long, but we'll play along.
Yeah, you're probably right.
You know?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and drove my daughter to cheerleading practice, and this lady's like, I just want my daughter to be my friend. And I'm like, I look at her and I'm like, she goes, do you have a problem with that? I go, yeah, I do. And she goes, what's the problem? I'm like, I go, ma'am, at the time I was like, I'm a 40-year-old man. Being friends with children is disgusting. You know? I don't want to be friends with a 10-year-old.
Oh.
You know? In any other situation, that's disgusting. So I'm like, I don't want to be their friend. She goes, what do you want to be to them? I want to be their dad. That's my daughter, not my friend.
Amen, dude.
You know?
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah. That's
I don't
like
want
oh my god. It's just like
and I told her, she's like all horrified. And I'm like, I'm quite frankly disgusted that you would want to be friends with a 10-year-old. How old are you? She's like, I'm 31. I'm like, you want to be friends with a 10-year-old? That's disgusting. You know? And she's like, well, I just don't understand. I go, okay, this is not my daughter and these aren't her friends. Let me go find a 10-year-old girl to go be friends with and be like, you know?
It's so crazy, and they don't realize how insane it is. It's like, just stop.
Well, she
Love your
well,
children.
and then so
For
she's
God's sake.
I love my children, but I don't want them to be.
No,
my
I know you do.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, these crazy bitches, like, oh no, it's the Real Housewives. That's what we want. That's the reality that I want. I want that.
Oh no, I don't
Like,
want. No.
What the fuck? Not you. I'm saying them.
No, I'm just
That's what they want.
Oh, and it's just like she's like, well, don't you want your kids to like me? I don't give a shit if my kids like me. I want them to respect me. And they go, I just want my kids to respect me. I don't care if they like me. I want them to respect me. And with respect is like. It's just.
Lost you.
You lost me? Or we haven't. Oh.
No, I got you now. Go.
Are we there? There we go.
Yeah,
No, but
no,
it's
I
just
got you.
like, and then we went to
Um,
soccer practice, and these people are like, I can't stand soccer. Well, not American soccer. I like watching Europe, English football, but American soccer sucks. I have two teams I actively keep track of, but I don't have enough time to really. I don't have enough attention span to sit through a game. I keep track of them. I like the whole pyramid way of the system that you can start on the bottom and work your whole way up, and all of a sudden you're playing Chelsea and you started out as a single A baseball team basically, and now you're playing the majors. The way they all do it, but the American soccer sucks. Um, I like what is it? I like Chelsea because that was my sister's name, and then I like Wexham. Um, I like that team, but anyway, so I'm sitting there at I'm at soccer practice watching Formula One racing on my iPad in the middle of soccer practice.
hang on.
So, all right.
1 second.
Yeah. So, anyways, I went off onto a little diatribe, but I mean, it's just
All
these.
right, look, let's go a little deep here on like
It's almost midnight,
something.
so we got to wrap this up pretty quick.
No.
And so, basically, in like 5.5 hours, I got to go to the race.
Yeah, no. All right, you know what? Let's just call it.
Hey,
That's good.
so far, the way I calculate this, we've done about an hour and a half podcast. We'll see how it catches. I got that picture I sent you. I'll put that up as cover art, and then
No, I love it. I think this is a great. It's a great start. All right, you know.
yeah, I've had fun. I
Uh,
mean, and
no, I love this. This is
yeah,
great. I love this. I needed this for
yeah.
a long time. Just to be able to just vent. So
Hopefully,
thank
we
you.
don't get in too much trouble with this, but we'll see.
Nah, I don't care. Like I'm working for. I mean, my dad runs the company, and
Well, yeah, but
you know,
well, if I was worried
it's
about getting in trouble, I would probably be working for a company right now instead of being a stay-at-home dad thing. But that's
let let's. Can I challenge you with one thing?
oh yeah,
Is and I keep asking you this: who are you? And let me just cut to the chase because that's a loaded question.
oh yeah, no.
When I ask myself that question, I look at my children and go, who do they think they are?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a reference point.
That's the
They're
cool.
just operating off of their current paradigm. What makes us think that we are not doing that all the time?
When you find out, you let me know. You know.
Well, I think I have,
Oh, I know.
and
But
it's terrifying,
oh yeah.
quite frankly, because we are not what we think we are.
Okay.
We have built the story around ourselves based on what our parents have told us, what our grandparents have told us, our history, and that is what our identity is in our minds.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But take all that away and then ask yourself, who are you?
Well, that's food for thought for sure.
Next time.
Yeah, we'll leave it on that note. And I'd like to say, if you guys got this far in the podcast, leave us a like. Hopefully, you'll subscribe, and we're going to do some more of these. We got to get past 7, and then it's officially a podcast.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And if you made it past this point, you're sick. So God bless you.
Oh, you can't.
I love that. No, I love it. You're my kind of sick. All right.
Okay. Okay, we'll go with that. I am not anyone's kind of anything. I am who I am. I'm not your kind of sick. I'm my own kind of sick.
Yeah. Yo también.
What's that?
It means me too, bro. I'm married to a Mexican, so.
Yeah, I am too, but she don't speak none of the Spanglish. Yeah.
All right.
All right, bro.
Follow, like, subscribe. Come on.
Leave comments.
Get on the train, bro.
And trust me.
Let's go. Leave comments. Yes.
Trust me, I'll eventually get him a nice microphone so it sounds better.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you like Rudolph Steiner, please, for the love of God, make a comment, please.
And on that note,
God bless
guys,
you.
thank you very much.